Hi, everyone. Good evening. I guess most important, happy Friday. So excited that it's Friday. Although I know in the restaurant industry, it's never, you never get a break, but it certainly is nice to have, to know that it's the end of the week and we can start the weekend. And as I always wish you a great weekend of sales and really good business. I wanted to tonight just introduce maybe 4 topics and hopefully make it pretty quick. The first is I want to make sure that everyone is we're just kind of all in this together on the notion that people will begin to dine in again. Obviously, when some of the narrative that's throughout the media starts to move away from fear, but also people will start to dine out again when they feel safe. And one of the best ways that we can make them feel safe is by leveraging the Texas Restaurant Promise. And most importantly, as you know, just if we go back, because it feels like we've been in this crisis a long time, and if not really, it's been 4 months, right? But at the very beginning of this, as we started to begin the reopening process, about 2 weeks prior, we got assembled a group of people, right, of leaders in the chain and independent arena, and built the Texas Restaurant Promise, which now today mirrors the governor's guidelines directly. But a couple weeks ago, we took it one step further and we said we really want to have a system in place, a certification program that would allow restaurants to demonstrate that not only are they compliant, but they've also been verified. They're compliant and following all those health protocols and guidelines in sort of this COVID-19 world. So we launched the Texas Restaurant Promise certification, make it really easy. And what it is an online program in partnership with Dallas College and A Closer Look that allows you to have 5 employees go through online training. You then get a certification that says certified and verified Texas Restaurant Promise certification. And the sort of, I guess, verified, certified, the reason those 2 pieces are in there is one is your 5 employees completed the training and you've been certified as a restaurant that has all the knowledge to follow the protocols and the various areas. But then the verified is when A Closer Look comes in. They come to your restaurant over a 30-day period 4 different times. They verify that those things are happening. And then for the next 90 days, you actually get access to a texting service where your guests will be able to communicate directly with you. And I want you to really think about that, right? One of our goals is that we want to take some of that, sometimes misinformation and sometimes some of the reviews that you see by guests, we want to get all that off of the public domain and have consumers directly communicating with you about their experience and sharing that. And this number that you'll have access to will help you do that. The most important message tonight is that there's no cost to this. We have secured a grant with Dallas College, who have just been great partners, and there is no cost for you to put 5 of your employees through this. So I really, really encourage you to just take a moment to go online to the website I'll give you and register. There's really nothing you can lose by gaining more knowledge, having access to multiple courses, and having your employees get that training you need, right? Especially across so many different areas of your restaurant. So, no cost thanks to the Texas Workforce Commission. The initial grant was $500,000. We're going to go ask for more. So there's no cash outlay on your part. You get a certified, verified certificate, a seal to put in your window. And then as the Dine at the Sign campaign begins across the state, consumers know they should go to your restaurant because you've been deemed verified and certified, or certified and verified. And so quick on this is that it's a super short URL, and I'm being facetious. So it's txrestaurant.org, all things start, txrestaurant.org at the TRA, txrestaurant.org /TX Restaurant Certification. TX Restaurant Certification. So I'm going to have it on the bottom of the screen just to make sure you have it. Go there now, check in. Again, I want as many people, I want to go back to the Workforce Commission 100 times to ask for more support, because I really believe in this program. And I want you to have something to point to that when people say, gosh, is eating out safe? Of course it's eating out is safe. Look at my sticker. I've been through a program, has a number of my employees, and this is where you should eat. So that's number one. Number two, the update on the bar versus restaurant proposal that we've been talking about. We've been working with a senior member of the legislature who's helped us communicate really well with the governor's office, but also Kelsey and our team, who's just simply brilliant. She has been doing a lot of work on the definition. We believe, as you saw again today, and if you read down, the hospital numbers have stayed flat. Clearly, we don't want anyone in the hospital, but that continued rise the last 4 or 5 days has started to flatten, which is what we want to see. With that, we will make a good hard run early next week to get this done, to get this language, to get at least 1,500 or more of you reopened, those that we believe should never have been closed, and just sort of fell victim a little bit to the criteria that was used to make that decision. Another update on the federal front, and I think this is key, and I don't want to lose sight of this. It was probably in an email twice, maybe 3 times now. But if you remember early on, we went after something called the Restaurant Meals Program. And what it was Texas being certified to be able to have restaurants take the SNAP benefits, so that debit card, the SNAP benefits that a family or an individual might get. And the way I like to see it is, to me, it just makes a lot of sense. So if I'm really in the mood for a hamburger and I go to the store and there isn't any hamburger for me to buy, then I should be able to go to a restaurant and buy a hamburger or a hamburger meal for my family with my benefit card. When we were denied, there was a number of reasons, but Senator Cornyn, who has been very supportive of the sector, stepped in and he created a bill called Serve and Carry, and it's now being circulated. It's with Senator Cornyn and then Senator Murphy from Connecticut, and the whole idea is that there's 2 parts of it, right? Use the SNAP benefits in your restaurants, but also take some pressure off the food banks. We did a press release earlier this week with our San Antonio chapter. Don Larios has been a huge champion of this, and the food bank CEO wants this because the food banks have really, in this pandemic, been hard hit. And there's so many people in need that this would actually take the pressure off and would help restaurants continue to thrive and keep people employed. So I encourage you to please make sure that you're talking about this and you look below and see some of the text and the release on this. But Serve and Carry, as we get through the next couple of weeks, the Cornyn Murphy bill will really want to put some muscle behind, because the nation will benefit, but so will restaurants. When we sort of failed the first time around going through just a state process, because we really need legislation for a number of reasons, we had a lot of you sign up to participate. And so we'll roll all you over, but I think there's a lot of need and a lot of desire to do that. And then last, in the federal front, it looks like on Monday, Mitch McConnell will come out, Senator McConnell will come out with a bill, and he will then work with his Republican counterparts and really Senate counterparts to come out with sort of a bill which we think could be about $1 trillion. That's what the rumor is right now. We do believe it will carry a 5-year liability protection, so protect businesses from at least for 5 years, so end of 2024, of being sued around COVID-19, right? Providing those protections for those people that are following the guidelines. I think that'll be a cornerstone of this bill. I think it may start out with 0 extension of unemployment, but clearly be negotiated on the House side when the House gets a hands on this. I don't think it'll stay at 600, but my opinion is I don't think it'll go down to 0. And so if that comes out on Monday, then he'll get his members behind it, and then it'll go to the House, and that's where the negotiation begins. And so, I'll leave you with, and again, it's, we talk a lot with the federal team, but one thing to remember is that I do think it's going to be difficult to get an industry specific solution. I think when we get to a point where, for example, with the Wicker Cinema bill, which we've endorsed, an independent restaurant recovery fund makes a lot of sense. And I want to make sure we are so in tune. Most of our membership is independent restaurants. We need to make sure independent restaurants make it through this crisis, but limiting and targeting and narrowing funding is going to make it really hard to get that passed. So we believe that as we go into next week, you will see us put a great amount of energy into a second round of PPP funding to those that even already had a PPP loan. It's a way to help you pay your rent, because that's one of the abilities of that money. So you have sort of a little bit of rent protection again, and also to keep employees being paid for a number of weeks. So I think that's where we're going to land. I think you'll see liability unemployment be a lot of horse trading between both sides of Congress, and then you'll see the sort of the maybe targeted. I think there'll be maybe more of a, if you had revenue losses of 20% or more, sorry, that's my crazy dog. It was such a good idea during the middle of the quarantine to help save an animal who now every night is sort of a bit of a nightmare, but we love her. So that's all I have to say tonight. I hope you have a great weekend. Again, thanks for all you're doing. Let's keep stepping forward. Let's keep praying these numbers continue to stabilize in hospitals, and we'll just live another day. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.